Hello YouTube friends, Dr. Teresa here. Today's video is inspired by Casey is Winter. You may remember, those of you who have been following me, that a few months ago I had a tragedy in the Dwarf Seahorse tank where suddenly they were just getting sick. Their tails were getting misshapen, they were becoming discolored, and it reminded me very much of what happens to wild-caught dwarf seahorses in captivity that haven't been treated for nematodes, microscopic nematodes. I had done treatments and had continued losing some, and I was stable with around 30, and over the last few weeks I did lose 6 more. I'm not really sure if it's from the whole episode or not, because I'm coming up to the 1.5 year mark with the dwarf seahorses, and some of them may have just gotten past their life stage of surviving. Again, I'm not really sure what caused the whole episode. Originally, I blamed myself, thinking it was a piece of aquarium equipment, but the timing of it makes me wonder if it had something to do with the arrival of some new dwarf seahorses that I added to the herd. And that's kind of strange because I got it from the same source, has a high reputation, so maybe something in the water quality impacted the herd. I don't really know. And the reason I'm questioning it now is because Casey is Winter said it looks like he's going through something similar with his dwarf seahorses, and he's tried a lot of different treatments and doesn't feel like it's cured yet. And I thought that was interesting that he said that, because there were some concerning markings on my dwarf seahorses, even though their tails seemed like they were working very well, just some patches of discoloration. In addition to that, they have not had any babies since that episode. It looks like that there had been some pregnant males, but never any babies came. And I do know when seahorses need to absorb all their nutrition, they might absorb babies or expel eggs. But it's just strange that I didn't have any babies after all this time. So I did think about adding more seahorses, but wanted to be sure that the tank was clear of whatever parasite is in there. And I started another treatment of farbendazole with a plan to have it last a double length period of the normal initial dose that you would start with for hydroids. Farbendazole is the exact same treatment that's used for hydroids, and it is a dewormer, so it should work for something like nematodes, which are a type of worm as well. Well, in the middle of the treatment, I had an interesting opportunity. Someone who had adopted seahorses from me previously when I had over 120 and needed to rehome them, this person adopted about 24 from me and had a life change situation and was not able to keep the dwarf seahorses any longer. He did have some breeding going on, and he had about 36 seahorses, and I have estimated about 24. So I did take them and add them to my aquarium, and after about 24 hours they readjusted, and it wasn't long before the seahorses that I already had here started to look more lively. Now that could be partly because of this long course of farbendazole treatment, but I do think it has something to do with the addition of the new seahorses. There was flirting going on before, but not a lot. Now there is much more noticeable flirting going on, and like I said, the entire herd just seems like it's more perked up. I'm still in the middle of my double length treatment of farbendazole. I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and that's partly because I am bringing in dwarf seahorses. Even though they were originally from my tank, they were living for several weeks in someone else's tank. So I just want to make sure that I'm not reintroducing anything back into my tank. So we'll see what happens. Thanks so much for your interest in watching. If you have other ideas and things that you want to find out about regarding dwarf seahorses, please send me a message. I would love to hear from you and do a video on your topic. Take care.